Hello, good evening and welcome everyone to the episode 28 of the British Hive Mind. Sorry we're a little bit later than normal, but the daily chaos, the daily Brexit has been a little extended. I've just tuned out of there now. Blooming good show. Great show with a very good guest. One of the women that have been seriously affected. Her life has been changed due to politics, due to this government, due to the many things we're going to touch upon in this show. Because this show, as it says in the title, the show is called The Mountain We Have to Climb. Because it's got to a point now where pretty much every government institution, every facet of government has become corrupt. From the Electoral Commission to the political system, the party political system, to the CPS, the Crown, the courts, corrupt, to local councils, local councillors, and people running your local area, including mayors and things like this. Corrupt. The education system. Get me notes. I did some preparation work. I did some notes and stuff. Our infrastructure, our roads, our trains, our buses have all fallen off the edge of the cliff. Crap, you look down the roads nowadays. Potholes, rubbish. It's just freaking awful, the infrastructure in this country. Then we've got the NHS, which is totally corrupt. Not at the bottom levels, more at the middle management and upper echelons, but they're totally corrupt. Then we've got the media. I'm having to do shows like this myself, because the media is that corrupt. The media is that far gone. We have to make our own TV shows. We have to make our own little shows, our own little live broadcasts, to try to get our point across, to try to inform people of the news and the views and the things that are actually happening in this country as we speak. The food industry, from freaking allowing halal slaughter, to factory farming, to battery hens, to cows with holes in their stomachs so it's easier to feed them. The food industry has gone wrong. It's gone quite wrong. Hello, Susan. Yeah, so there's a mountain that we have to climb. We have to change a lot in this country. We have to change some of the fundamental parts of our country, of our infrastructure, of our governance. We have to change. So let's jump straight in. And one of the first things we've got to change is most definitely the political system. Party politics is the worst system of governance I have ever experienced. To divide people by, well, it used to be to divide people by their class. So if you're working class, you vote Labour. If you're middle class or upper class, you vote Conservative. So it would divide you that way. And divide and conquer. Divide the people. Get the people not uniting together, but fighting against each other. And party politics now has got to a point where people aren't voting for their local candidate because of their local candidate's reputation, because of their local candidate's affinity to the local people. You know, they're not voting for the local candidate because of their what's the word? The candidate's personality? No, not personality, but the candidate's credentials. That was it. Because of their local candidate's credentials, they're voting for their party because of their party's views or their party stance. Because we know by now that politicians that don't follow the party line aren't politicians for very long. They'll touch someone's knee and then get accused of sexual harassment. Like this happens. So it's taken everything away from the local community, from the local people making local decisions about who they want to represent their local constituency in the House of Commons. It's now turned into voting for the party you want to represent Britain in the Houses of Commons. Or this party said such and such a thing, well, I agree with that, so I'll vote for them. Whereas it should be my local Member of Parliament, my local MP, has said he wants to do this, this and this in our local area. Great, that's a great plan. Let's vote for him then. Not... And local representation is not actually happening in our Houses of Commons. That's what the first past the post system is supposed to be. The first past the post system is supposed to be the local constituencies winning their local elected Member of Parliament, and that Member of Parliament representing that local constituency and its wants, its will and its needs of its people in the Houses of Commons. That's what first past the post is all about. Yeah, that's another one, because when we get to the Electoral Commission and the electoral counters, we'll find that they're getting slipped backhanders and getting rid of votes. But let's get back to the actual system itself, because the system isn't... Well, the system's a good system. It is a good system, it's just being misused, mistreated, and sadly we're all misguided. But, you know, your local Member of Parliament representing your local constituency in the Houses of Parliament, being able to vote for what the local person wanted and what the local people want, is the heart of our democracy. Whereas what it is now is your local representative, your local MP, isn't there to represent the local people, isn't there to fight for local needs. They're there to toe the party line, and that's it. They're there to kiss babies and then lie to people. That's what an MP is at the minute. If they do want to address local issues and, you know, help with the local areas and help with proper political movements and activism, they're quickly booted off or whipped into position. Now, that's the next worst thing about the party political system. The party political system has now got whips. Has now got people that drudge through your past, that drag you into nefarious situations and degrading situations so they can keep that information on you. They are there to drag out any information that they can from you, your past, your beliefs, your family, anything that they can use against you, the whips will use against you. Be it what was it? Gambling debts, or be it troubles with young boys, like the Tim Fortescue quote. That's what the Whip's office is all about. And we now have the Tory ex-chief whip as our Minister of Defence. How do you think he got that position? Who do you think he's got dirt on? This is the state of our political system. It's not what you know, it's not what you stand for. It's who you know and what you know about them. That's the political system in this country now. It's more of backhanders and backstabbing than anything else. And it's something we have to change. It's part of the mountain we're going to have to climb, is a complete reset of our political system. I'm not trying to advocate for proportional representation, because I still believe that independent local members of parliament is the best way forward, is the right way forward, to have independent people standing for their independent constituency and representing the independent local people of that constituency. But jump back to the cheat sheet. So like I mentioned, the politicians are there to represent the party, not to represent the people. And that's got to change. Then we've got the political system itself, the houses of politics. You know, the Crown has been lost. The Crown, she's an oath-breaker. She has no power. She's nothing but a figurehead puppet to dance about in front of the tourists. Sadly, that's the state of affairs of the royal family at the moment. Useless and need to be replaced. It's going to be a tricky one to do. It's going to be a tricky thing to convince the public. You know, they kept having this. I remember when Blair was in charge, and they had like a sort of, well, not a referendum. It might have been a referendum actually, but they had a sort of public vote on whether we should abolish the monarchy. Very, very dangerous subject. Very, very dangerous to blatantly put in front of the British people a constitutional change like that, to change us from a constitutional monarchy to something totally tyrannical. Oh, and they're pushing for it. They're pushing for it. Why do you think there's so much? Why do you think this royal wedding is, oh, we've got to clear the homeless off the streets. Oh, we're going to spend 300,000 on her dress. Oh, we're going to spend 25 million on the actual ceremony itself. Don't you just hate the royal family? Don't you hate them? Don't you want to get rid of them? That's what they're pushing. That's the hidden narrative. That's the hidden agenda to it, because they want to abolish our constitution. They want to abolish our constitutional monarchy. And if they can convince the stupid people that this is what they want, this is what the people want, then it's only for us to blame when they replace our constitutional monarchy with tyranny. They have done. They're well on the way to doing it, and they're well on the way to fully cementing it in place. But they want to blame the people for it. They don't want it to be pointing fingers at them that are doing it. They want the people. They want to point the finger at the general populace, and the people say, "Well, it was the people's choice. The people's decision was to abolish the monarchy. It was the people's choice." Yeah, right. So, and then the next thing they want to abolish is the House of Lords. Yeah, let's abolish the House of Lords. So now we get all the mainstream media and all the subverted narrative to be, Well, it's unrepresentative. It's unelected. It's biased. It's full of really wealthy people who really don't care about the British people at all. It's bad and it's got to go. Can you see the forced narrative there? Now, with the House of Lords, we need a second house. You have to. It's part of politics. It's part of the system. You have a first house of elected and a second house of educated. One to represent the common man, one to represent the constitution and the well-being of the country. Not anymore. Not anymore. Last time we didn't monarchy with the government and Princess Diana died. Yeah. And the Queen. Back. See more. No, I can't see more. You have to make comments shorter because I can't press the see more button. But yeah. So back to the House of Lords. These parachuted in EU peers from the Blair, Brown, Cameron days, where they replaced the hereditary lords and all the upstanding gents that were representing the British Constitution, representing the British as a country, and replaced them with Eurocrats, and replaced them with people who used to work for the European Union, and replaced them with, good business buddies that they had, So they've replaced all the good lords with evil lords, bad lords, lords that only care about themselves and their money and the feathers in their nest. And they've replaced them. So that will drag the name of the House of Lords and besmirch the name of the House of Lords. So the British people will be easy to convince that the House of Lords has got to go. That's what it's all for. That's what it's been done for. It's been done to try to convince your everyday ignorant people that the House of Lords is bad and has to be abolished. You can see them pushing for a referendum on it. So then they've got the public mandate to strip us. Oh, yeah. Don't think the royal wedding will last long. I can't wait until the royal divorce. Yeah. Well, he's not even a freaking royal, is he? Come on. Yeah, but yeah, that would actually be quite a funny one. But no, I think yeah. But back on topic. So we need to uproot, depose, and behead the royal family. Big statement, but it's needed. We need to clear out the House of Lords. We need new lords. Highly educated, highly motivated British patriots that love Britain in all of its aspects, as it was and should always be. We need the right lords in the House of Lords. We don't need Eurocrats. We don't need ex-EU bureaucrats. We don't need people that are busy lining their pockets whilst they have a little nap in the House of Lords. We don't need no Muslim chuffing lords in the House of Lords. Very, very bad. Very unconstitutional. We need our constitution bringing back. We need a House of Lords that is going to uphold the constitution and hold the constitution as the highest law in the land. We need the right lords. We don't need to get rid of the House of Lords. We need to get rid of the scum that is sitting in the House of Lords. The same could be said for Parliament. Parliament, yes, we do have the option of voting and trying to get new politicians in the House of Commons that's supposed to represent the common man. Not anymore. It represents big business. It represents corporate financing. It represents big banking. It represents the global elite. It represents nothing of the British people, the British people's will, or the British people's wants. So, yes, we can all go out en masse and we can all vote. However, we've also got the Electoral Commission. We have the ballot counting peoples and the people that issue the ballots, because wasn't it in London's mayoral election when Sadiq Khan got into power, when over 200,000 ballots went missing? I wonder whose fault that was, because that was most definitely the responsibility of the Electoral Commission. Yet it is corrupt. Yet it has been infiltrated by common purpose. It has been infiltrated by people that want to subvert our constitution, people that want to subvert our democracy, and people that want nothing more than the more money in their pocket. So,
it's
oh, fucking hell, you scared me then, mate. Fuck! Oh.
G'day. How's it going?
Oh, blooming heck. That was... Yeah, right, calm down. Right, we're calm.
You alright now?
Yeah, I'm alright.
Good to hear, chicken.
I've still got a laugh on.
Yeah, it's wholly deep state controlled.
Oh yes, and that's why the title of the show is The Mountain We Have to Climb, because it is a mountain.
You think Everest is tall?
Yeah,
You think the ice caps go deep?
Yeah,
It goes deeper.
Yeah, try going up against the British establishment that has been established for centuries.
But it's not even just that, you're going against the deep state, aren't you?
Well, the international establishment.
Deep state.
Yeah.
Yeah, the internet. Yeah, the military complex and their, what are they called? Oligarchs.
Their secret services, their secret societies, and their vast number of secrets. Yeah. So...
Yes, we are just societies with secrets. We're not secret.
No, we're not secretive at all. You don't have to sign this piece of paper that says we can kill you if you tell them any of our secrets. No, we don't. We don't make you do that. Well, let's all just roll up our pant leg and do a funny handshake. Yeah. So I was just getting on to the Electoral Commission and how the fact they are corrupt. And the fact that, sadly, they are issuing pencils to people to put down their votes. They are miscounting votes. They are saying votes have been spoilt when they haven't. They are... Yeah.
They are bent.
Bent.
They're as bent as a top note.
Yep. They are. They are. And the guy who stood in Hull and he comes on the Daily Brexit quite often, or the Daily Chaos quite often. He's one who's physically experienced this. You know,
Oh, Colin Worrell.
Yeah, yeah.
Good old Colin.
Actually experienced this, where the people have miscounted the votes or published the ballot papers, or 200
It's been
people.
happening for a long, long time.
Oh, most definitely. Why do you think it is that no new party can form?
They're not allowed.
They're not allowed. The Electoral Commission will put every hurdle it can in their way. You know, the For Britain movement had to be called the For Britain movement because of the Electoral Commission's nitpicking. They almost had to change the logo because of the Electoral Commission's nitpicking. It's
been going on a long time.
It truly has. It truly has, and it's now with the
systemic.
Now with the surge of the internet and the surge of knowledge and information that's there at our fingertips, we're starting to break through the clouds to see the blue sky. Let's see. Let's see if we.
I'm hoping people are seeing past this whole protesters being killed in Palestine.
Yeah.
Terrorists.
Yeah. What protesters?
Palestine is controlled by terrorists, Hamas.
So come on. What protesters go to protests wearing masks, carrying weapons?
Carrying weapons. Mm-hmm.
Yes. What sort of
open
smoke? Hiding behind the tyre smoke, burning thousands of tyres on the border to make sure that they can hide from gunfire. Let's look back in history. What happens when a group of people come to your border armed, threatening you? Isn't that a declaration of war?
Good evening.
Oh, we got.
Good evening.
Hello, sir. Oh,
Well, they've been at war for a very, very long time.
yeah.
One moment. Oh, yeah. The states were created, we would say. But, well, we look at history, there has been no Palestine. And yeah, so well, yeah, when you literally have terrorists coming into your thing, who have declared war on you since the dawn of fucking Palestine, it comes to a situation not defend your nation with guns.
almost.
Continuously take control of the border. We're going to have all armed people that go bomb tanks and the aircraft missiles, everything. Has it been people defending? Exactly. And I'm not saying that Israel is perfect. Far from it. But they are protecting their borders. Simple as that. I agree with that. You could probably say, in some ways, just to throw a missile in there. One, you're spoiling your own country because they're in your country, and yeah, I would just shoot. I wouldn't use bombs or anything like that. I see it as pointless.
Well, it's a. You see, they're trying to portray it as the Israeli army shooting on unarmed civilians. That's how the media is trying to portray it. Whereas we can see clearly from the footage and the evidence that they might not be armed with guns, but they're armed with slings. Friggin' hell, have you ever been hit by a sling? I haven't, but I've seen the effects of it. Cripes, leave a big friggin' hole in your skull. Yeah, and they they are defending their nation that we gave them against an invading
In an
force.
act of war.
Yeah.
In a war.
Yeah.
It is a war zone.
Yep.
What did you do? Just have peaceful protesters in a war zone?
No.
Peaceful protesters with machetes and slings and everything? Don't think so. But do you know what? That's not our problem.
No, it's not. It's not
Really
our problem.
Really isn't our problem.
We've got bigger things, bigger freaking problems in our.
We can't go and sort somewhere else out when we've even got our own front yard cleaned.
Well,
it's ridiculous.
The problem is,
this is like expecting Donald Trump to clean the world up, right? When he ain't even sorted out America yet. It's ridiculous. You got people in England going, "Oh well, he ain't done the arrest yet. He ain't done Hillary Clinton." But hang on, mate. There's a few other things that got to get sorted in that country before he gets that sorted. Like he's got them under control. Well, but he has to sort out other stuff, like the judicial system.
The judicial. I was just about to get into that because that's another mountain. One of our mountains we have to climb is our judicial system because we're not going to be.
How high does it go and how deep is it? Like, I mean, how deep under the ground does it go and how high does it go above the ground? Because, geez, man, I'm struggling to find at least one decent person within the judicial service, let alone all getting a whole group for like a special council or something.
You heard you heard on the Daily Chaos of Brexit earlier what's happening with our CPS, what's happening with our court system, what's happening with our policing. That is just a perfect example of the corruption in the courts. What that woman has been through, what those families have been through, and to know deep down in your heart of hearts that this was an act of terrorism and they're covering it up. Oh, it must be so infuriating.
That's why we're all behind her. Behind them all of the families
and I look
involved, and anyone that's been affected by terrorist or any sort of horrendous act. We're morally righteous people. People call us right wing. Look, all you have to do is just hear what we've got to say. Listen to us. Actually listen. Don't hear things. Actually listen. Because once you start listening, things become a lot clearer and a lot simpler. And then you start communicating. So you start
asking questions.
Asking questions, and others ask questions of them, of you. It's a very simple way to go forward. It appears that people have made it very difficult, naming the people running the system is the problem. The system could be very easily sorted, right? It's just the people within it are corrupt. So you can't, like I say, like becoming free, like how people have become free men of the land. That can only work for a few people. That wouldn't work for the masses. One, people won't do it because you have to pay for it, and two, the system won't allow it.
Well, that's why I want the system.
Well, the people in the system won't allow it.
That's why I want the system or the people in the system to change, so it's done en masse. So it's just done. Everybody's alive. Everybody's free.
We need to get the people out, them people that are in there out.
Yes, but it's it's getting the fuckers out. Yeah, like I said, the what that woman's had to go through. I'm gonna look. I look forward to seeing her on Saturday, meeting with her, talking with her, and finding out some more. Because I've seen a CCTV video of a car mounting the curb, hitting three lads and missing two others, and I was like, it's stored in the back of your memory. I was like, is that the video from that? Is that? Did I see? Are they linked? Is that video? But I'm not 100% sure.
It could very well be.
Well, it looked like, it was a car mounting the curb and running over three lads. But from what we hear and from what we're seeing nowadays, that's becoming a more and more common occurrence.
Common denominator.
Well, the common denominator is lamb.
Exactly.
Yep. And
just one symptom of the problem.
yeah, but it's like the problem.
Just to point that out.
The problem's so big. It's where do we start? Like luckily, America has got Trump and has got the person in power to get stuff done. Sadly, we don't. We've got freaking Theresa May, her husband that owns and runs the private freaking police force, fucking G4S, and they're now being rolled out onto the streets.
And then you've got Serco, run by or owned by Prince William.
Right, yep.
And one of the initiatives, one of the people in there is also Obama. And that has a role within every part of society, literally every part. And guess what? The rules aren't meant to have anything to do with politics or any part to do with our society. They're just meant to live. They're there to represent us, right? To be a figurehead for the crown. That is it.
That is it. Yep. But they're being very common purpose and going way above their jurisdiction.
Like the government, then you pull them down a peg or two.
Oh, most definitely. A lot of agencies need to be dropped to their knees and told that they are the servants and we are the master.
Well, I'll tell you how rife the problem is. We have about 14 million civil servants. Just put that in your head.
Yeah.
14 million civil servants, and guess what? The workforce of this country is 31,000. 31 million, sorry.
Yeah.
31 million of a workforce.
Well, does an NHS nurse class as a civil servant?
Technically, yes.
Yeah, because the NHS is the UK's largest employer.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Well, on official, Whitehall has the biggest.
How do you mean?
Whitehall controls everything, mate. Literally, the MPs, what happens, they're the head honcho. They're the head office of the UK.
Yeah.
So
now I get you.
United Kingdom Corporation.
Yeah.
They are the head of it.
Now I get you, because it's Whitehall up here and then NHS down here, but guess who still runs the NHS? Oh, and who's responsible for all the employment? Whitehall. Yep. Now I get that point. And Whitehall's got to go.
Well, and we don't have how many nurses in that do we have? Would you say as a workforce and doctors?
About 3 or 4 million.
I was going to say about 4 to 5.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a very good. Yeah, 4 is probably a good figure. So that would mean then that we've got 10 million plus other civil servants. We only have 120,000 police officers. We only have 80,000 army personnel. Where are all these other people? And what are they doing? And why are we paying them?
Oh, they're pushing pieces of paper about. They've been given government jobs, so the government statistics for unemployment don't go through the roof. It's become...
Fucking mental.
What do you think happened in Nazi Germany? They started to put in all of these regulations, all of these sort of offices, then they had to man and staff them. So then you got lots and lots of people working for the government. So lots and lots of people cannot defy the government. And it goes hand in hand. The more people that are suckling from the teat of government, the less people there are to go up against it. Now, this might be a bit controversial. This might be a bit controversial because the NHS is a boil on the back of the UK public, and it has to be lanced. It needs a serious overhaul. Majoritively focused at the top, but trickling its way down to the bottom as well, because it's not your everyday...
I want to go and meet the CEO of Boots, and I want to go and make a new deal.
Give us all your for free.
that hand cream and other supplies you don't ever have to pay for again.
Well, that's what the problem is with the NHS. One of the problems that is with the NHS, because there's a frigging load of them. It's the corporate backhanders of the NHS. It's the people in charge of the NHS going up to their corporate buddies and saying, well, I've got this big fat government check, I'll buy your stuff off you. Doesn't matter what you charge me.
Do you mean people like Richard Branson?
Yeah, the government buddies.
Who should have nothing to do with our health system.
No, it shouldn't. It shouldn't have... It should be a national health system where the nation gets to vote on a lot more of the issues involved. You know,
And not an international.
yeah, most certainly not an international. I believe
Only English, Welsh, Scottish and Irish allowed.
Yeah, it should
And
be.
if you aren't that, then guess what? You have to pay.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely.
Unless if you have insurance.
Well,
and
then
your
you're paying
insurance
for
will deal with
insurance.
it. Like,
Then you're
I
paying-
know quite a few Eastern Europeans that have got health insurance, that have got life insurance, because they don't want to be a drain on the NHS. They want to help out.
Well, I think it's got into a lot of British people's head as well. Not the fact that
It's there for a backup for us.
it's not there for a fact I'm going out to buy insurance so I don't have to cost the NHS. It's, well, I won't go and see my doctor because I don't want to be a drain on the NHS. I've got this issue with my feet, but I don't want to see the doctor because I don't want to be a drain on the NHS. So I'll put up with it. That's got into the British personality. That's got into the British psyche now, where we're avoiding the NHS to try to save the NHS, if you get where I'm coming from.
That, or we're just sat, like, well, we're only going to shove pills down my throat. I may as well find my alternative.
Yeah, I'll find my own alternative. I'll go on. I'll ring up. What is it? Is it 101 or something like that? And I'll
111.
111, and I'll speak to someone, and I'll say, well, I've got this problem and I've got that problem. Can you give me some advice? And they'll go, well, yeah, change what you eat, and you might get better. But
They're not wrong.
well, no, they're not.
They're not wrong.
Yeah, probably a bad example. It would probably be go to the pharmacy and buy some drugs. That's what that's what 111 would say. Yeah.
Yeah, changing your diet. Everyone, guess what? Don't have a diet. Never have a diet. Diets are bad. Guess what you have? A lifestyle change. Oh yeah, to get you motivated.
Eat yourself
That's
well.
what you gotta do.
You gotta eat yourself well. If you're eating some shit, then you're not gonna feel well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You know, and that's another part of the mountain. Because once we've got to, you know, a nice height on the mountain, we're going to start having to change things like the food industry. Because factory farming and, you know, sticking holes in cows and battery chickens isn't the right way to farm, isn't the right way to produce our food. Having to import our fruits and vegetables from European countries instead of growing our own is not the right way to do things. We have to really shake up the food industry, because all this processed food and processed garbage and carcinogens being pumped into the foods on purpose has to stop. And I'd love it to stop at a cultural level. I'd love to the people to culturally educate themselves and, you know, buy local produce and buy real food properly. But
just to touch on what you said about like the carcinogens, the carcinogenic foods, right? I was making a round of drinks, and I picked up because someone wanted sweetener.
Yep.
Which I reluctantly done. Okay, I did explain. It's a carcinogenic. This is a cancer aggravating property. Guaranteed to give you cancer. Inexact, actually, for cancer to be grown, or an ailment of a mutation of cancer. So anyway, I was making this round of drinks, and someone said, oh, because I grabbed it and I was like, oh, I have to do this. And the other person said, oh, that's great, isn't it? You change from refined sugars to a carcinogenic.
Yeah.
Like aspartame. It's like, that makes sense. I'll stick to the sugar, thanks. And I was like, well put.
Yeah.
Don't have these diet drinks. They're all bad for you. Sweeteners are terrible. Like, so awful. It's unbelievable.
And to be honest with you, if you eat sugar from like the Silver Spoon Company, you're helping British farmers that farm sugar beet. If you buy
not just that,
if you buy sweetener and aspartame,
I don't fully agree with refined sugar receiver like Silver Spoon and Tate Lyle, because the process that goes through with the dyeing and all of that to get it to the process to what it is, you should really be you should be using raw sugar, not refined. Even refined sugar is quite bad for you.
Oh yeah,
for a number of reasons.
it's not it's it's bad for you,
And that's
but
why
it's not as bad as
I'm
car.
against the production of majority. I would even go as far as 99% of foods and drinks. I'm against the manufacturing and the way the processes are done.
Well, what I was saying, my point was, if you do buy refined sugar, you're buying it from a British farmer who's farming sugar beet. If you're buying sweetener or aspartame, or any of the other asparbers, you're buying that off a either pharmaceutical company or a big chemical company.
Well, Silver Spoon and that isn't owned by British, by the way, just so you're aware. They're not owned British anymore.
It's British farmers though. It is British farmers. It's not sugar cane. It's sugar beet.
Yeah, but the farmers are employed by these people.
Hey,
They're corporate farms.
guess what?
The sugar beets aren't. They're corporate farms. They aren't normal farmers anymore.
Guess what?
That went a long time ago.
Part of the mountain. Part of the mountain we've got to climb.
So it doesn't matter where you buy your sugar from nowadays, because guess what? It comes from exactly the same place.
Comes from a corporation.
Even Whitworths now, they're just a processing plant for these corporate. They don't have their own farms.
Yep.
Or they do have wheat and stuff like that, but, you know, pesticides and all that.
Yep.
Another part of the food industry that's rife.
Yep. The chemical and food industry seem to have got hand in hand now and are really starting to stab it to the people. Yeah. Because...
Aren't they just?
Yeah.
Like, oh, look, we've now got peach cola. Come and try peach cola. Really good for you. You got some appealing man standing there. Come on, ladies, it's peach. You want it. MK Ultra, sound a bit similar?
Yeah, sounds very...
I'm putting this image inside your brain, so when you see it, you're going to think of me, and you're going to want to drink it.
Boom. Diet Coke man. Diet Coke window cleaner man. Yeah.
I literally pick apart everything now because everything's MK Ultra with it. It's quite. I find it quite funny. Like I'll watch an advert and I'll pick things out and I'll laugh and there'll be people about and they'll be like, what, Glenn?
What is it?
And then I'll do it and then they're like,
Yep. Well, great.
Really? And I was like, I've read all of the CIA papers. I've read a lot of their experiments with the doctors in university, and I've also read papers that people have written about this, and I've also spoke to a lot of people about this.
Well, it's a great segue into the next mountain we've got to climb, which is media. You see,
the British Brainwashing Corporation.
Yep.
AKA BBC.
Now, well, I tried to watch a film last night as well, and I couldn't.
Good luck.
I couldn't.
I bet you were sitting there knowing exactly what was going on, what they were trying to portray and everything.
Yeah, what was it? Oh, what was it called? It was something effect. I can't remember it now. I only watched
the butterfly effect.
Yeah, it was kind of like that, but yeah.
With Jared Kushner. Yeah.
No. Brand spanking new film. Literally brand spanking new film, and I was watching it, and I watched about 5 minutes of it, and I was like, I know exactly what's going to happen here. I know exactly what they're pushing. Oh, brilliant. It was like we're destroying the planet, and we've only got like 5 years worth of energy left in the planet. I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stick it. I just went, no, can't watch that. No. It was bloody awful.
Could you imagine, right, if someone came up to you and said, all of our energy's going to disappear, we're going to have no energy left or anything like that in like 5 years' time? I'd stand there and I would laugh at them.
I'd laugh my ass off.
I'd be like, what are you laughing at? I'd be like, we'll be perfectly fine, don't worry about it. We've got free energy. It's fine.
The,
Don't panic. I'm quite happy to leave the oil in the earth because it means less disruptions and less tectonic plate movement and less volcanic activity and less earthquakes. And let's stop this and let's just use the magnetic energy that the force that is surrounding us, this gravity. Okay,
Yep.
the thing they call gravity is a magnetic force pulling us, the positive energy as a people, to the negative energy, the earth. That is gravity. Okay, Einstein, guess what, mate? Thanks for helping me out. I worked it all out perfectly fine. And Tesla, you helped me out. I worked out. It is, that's what gravity is. It's the magnetic energy between us and the earth.
magnetism has nothing to do with gravity. Gravity is mass, and mass, the attraction of mass. Mass attracts other mass. But that's a science. That's science and stuff. But
Well, if you think about it, right, everything is electric. Everything is frequency and vibration, yeah? There has to be a positive and a negative at some point, okay? And that could be an object, like a piece of a plastic lid I'm just about to drop, right? That could be a positive energy drawn to a negative energy. It's a theory.
it's a theory.
That I've used of Einstein's and of and yeah,
Gravity's a wave.
it is. It's a word to describe a force that's unknown, or they say is unknown.
Well, it's a weird one. It is a weird one, gravity. Because
All we say is that because of an object and because of us being firm to the ground, right, to wherever the Earth is, rotating on its axis, that this force they call gravity.
well, in my understanding, gravity is the attraction of matter. Matter attracts other matter. It does.
So, and
So,
what
the
is
bigger
matter?
the matter, bigger the
Matter
mass.
is energy. Energy has positives and negatives. There would be more positives and negatives in one object than there would be in another. Okay? And they attract. Like magnets, they attract. In the force field that's around us.
Matter is attracted to other
Gravity simply
matter. What's
is.
gravity?
Gravity simply is describing the force that is exerted when an object or mass goes from mid-air or air to ground. Okay, that force that takes it down, okay, is gravity. That's what they explain as gravity. And it's gravity that keeps us in and keeps us connected to the ground, because no one really fully understands why or what it is or how it works. They just know how to describe it and they comprehend what this force could be. That's why it's called the theory of relativity.
Yeah. You know.
So it's just the force that exerted or is there or present when us as an object is either in air or standing on the ground. right? This gravity, this force, keeps us firm on the ground so we don't float away.
Yes. But that's because of
That's
the
that's
mass
what
of
it
the
is.
Earth.
It's just it's simply known as a force, and that it creates energy. It's funny that, isn't it? And probably, not, I genuinely believe it's because there's a positive. We are positives as energy. Okay, we do have negative in us, but as a people, generally, we are a positive people. Okay, if you understand grounding and how grounding works, if you have any negative energy inside you, you could go and do grounding, spend a couple of hours walking on the beach or walking in the park barefoot, or in fields, in a forest among trees, barefoot and stuff like that. Make sure you're fully connected to the ground, through your feet, and guess what? All your negative energy will just be drained out.
Now, I do have to not confront you, but the charge, positive and negative charge, has nothing to do with gravity whatsoever.
As the theory of relativity states, yes, you're right. But that doesn't mean it isn't present.
Oh, you can
Okay?
still have a
And it doesn't
charge.
mean that it isn't. It doesn't, they don't explain what it is. They could fully know what it is. Okay? They probably do know exactly what the force is and how it all works. But they won't tell us, because if we knew, it'd be too much for us to know. Because then we'd have to understand a lot more.
We can quite blatantly see that there are secrets, especially when it comes to science. There has been technology that has been suppressed. There has been theories, ideas, and
Oh yeah,
papers,
Einstein was a Freemason
actual
as well, don't
papers
forget.
that have been suppressed, that have been taken away from the public's knowledge. And when you look at Nikola Tesla, great guy, great inventor, how many of his inventions, how many of his thoughts, his ideas have been suppressed? Because, what was it? Was it Rockefeller that went and pulled his funding?
Morgan.
Morgan. It was Morgan. It was one of the fucking families, wasn't it?
Technically all of them, because they work together.
Yeah. Well, that's it. That's it. They've been working together since friggin' a long time ago. Yeah. So let's segue this.
200 and nearly 250 years now.
Now let's segue this.
A lot of these families have been working as one.
Now let's segue this into the education system, because people aren't being taught the right things. People are, well, I see it more and more and more and more and more and more nowadays. People are being told what to think and how they should think, rather than questioning. They are given the answers.
So all the tests are literally remembering tests. It proves how much you can remember. That's all it does. Can you remember all of what all the crap we've fed you? Yeah, we're going to give you an A for that. Guess what? We're going to allow you a bit further up so we can brainwash you a little bit more.
We'll make you think more of what we want you to
and
think.
It also gives them, meaning the establishment, a roundabout figure how many people are going to be in what sort of workforce and what sort of things going to happen. That's why they do this grading system.
Yep.
We should really have grammar schools, technical colleges, okay? Two very vital parts of education.
Yes, most definitely. We need a skilled workforce, and we need a skilled, well, not just workforce, but the skilled, financiers and like that.
We all need, and that's what I mean. But if you've got someone who's not, I don't know, very good at English and science and stuff like, or I say science, isn't very good at certain parts of science and isn't good at like PE and stuff like that, but he's brilliant with his hands. He's pretty darn good at maths, right? And he's got a good understanding of physics. Guess what? I'm going to shove him straight in an engineering college, if that's what he wants to do. Technical college, he's doing engineering. Wicked. That's what he wants to do. That's what he can do. Let's have a tailored education system that's going to suit everyone. Don't try and overgeneral this education system because it doesn't work. This education system needs to change. Yes. And if you do want people that just want to do certain, like all of like the senior schools, a lot of them would stay in it, but in a very different way. And the junior schools, or primary schools, they were changed to grammar schools. Well, they're academies now. They ain't even schools. What's all this about? Academy.
Yep, academy.
That's more brainwashing.
Yep, a brainwashing academy. That's what it is. That's what it's all about. The academy. The academy system is there to...
The academies used to be like...
Screw people's money over.
Yeah, they've done that very well.
Yeah, and well, the thing about our schooling system at the moment is I experienced this myself personally. I'm not blowing my own trumpet, but I have quite a high IQ. However, I'm dyslexic, so I struggle to put things into writing. So all of the tests were based around writing things. So
just to make it extra fair.
Yeah. So even someone who's gifted in technical, in engineering, in maths and things like that, is going to struggle like heck when it comes to a written test. So they're going to be looked down upon by the educators as being stupid. If you can't put your thoughts into words on a piece of paper that the teacher or educator then goes and reads, then you're not part of the, it's not sticking out from the system. You're being undermined by the system. You're not being able to be free to express how good you are inside this system.
To a certain degree, a long time ago they should have brought a system that I when I was at school, because I had a few dyslexic friends that were really good friends of mine, and I said there should be the ability to be able to have an oral test in regards to these. Even if you was in a separate room by yourself, right? And I know it sounds horrible, being by yourself doing a test, but in quite fact, I think you'd have to concentrate a bit more, and obviously disrupt others whilst they're doing their written tests.
Yeah.
And other people are doing their own oral tests, as a alternative to the written test. I said at school that should have happened, okay, because there was quite a few people that I knew that weren't very good at writing things down or even very good at reading it. But if there was, like, say there was 4 of us studying and we were studying together, right, they would fully understand and they'd have probably on the outcome of the conclusion than what the 3 people who can read and write properly.
To be a... Yeah.
and this is why I keep screaming individuality, a tailored education system.
Yeah, for British people. Yeah, and the fact that...
And not just British people, not just British people, because there are Polish people here. There are very good people here, right, that have just come in on a genuine basis and that do pay their way and do their things, okay? And we can't put that past them. We can't just kick them out.
we
Anyone
can't
who's
go...
illegal,
But we can't go
who's
freely educating the
not
world.
A full benefit of society. Yeah, but they have to assimilate as well. But the education system has to be... They live here now. Right, we have to face that fact. Okay, the Eastern Europeans live here now. Okay, any that are illegal or are doing criminal acts can go and will go, but the ones that aren't, they're going to stay. Can't kick them out.
No, but we can make them pay.
Would you make them pay if they're for 10 years? They've been here for 10 years, possibly even longer, right? And they're paid all of their taxes continuously. Do you think it's fair to make them pay?
Yes. Yes. My forefathers and my fathers and my forefathers actually put into the system, actually built the freaking college itself, actually built the freaking college and put bricks on top of bricks to make them.
Their children are going to be doing that. That's what I mean. Their children are going to be doing that for us as well.
How can you guarantee that? How can you guarantee that they're not going to go fly back to Poland? As soon as they've got their education, off back, bish bash bosh. I've got a British education.
What use is the British or English education system in Poland? What use is that?
I've been to Oxford University. I've been to Oxford University. Thank you very much. I've got a degree. Thank you.
The universities will be completely different.
Yeah, well,
and they have to be different.
Still, well, I used to.
If they're paying into the system all the time, this is where, like,
I used to rank the British education system as one of the highest in the world. Since mass immigration, it has fallen and fallen and fallen to the depth we're at now.
But the system's made it fall, or the people running the system's made it fall. You cannot solely blame the immigrants. I'm sorry. You cannot solely blame the immigrants. One, okay, if you was in a nation where you was earning a third less than the living ability, okay, and you was able to go to another country and earn more than the living wage, right? And you don't have to do anything. You just have to travel there, okay? You're going to do it.
No.
So if you
put the effort in, and you make your own country great. So if you're on a job
that pays you £3 an hour, okay? If you're on a job that pays £3 an hour, okay, and you have the ability to free move to another country, right, where you're going to earn, what is it, twice or 3 times that amount, right, and have more hours of working, literally have 4 times the amount of wages. You can do it.
No, I'm not. I'm going to make my own country great. I'm going to make my own country great. That's what I'd want to do. I'd want to see that in my country. That's what I'd want.
Yeah, you would. But when you know that your economy can't do it, right?
Why? Why couldn't my economy do it?
It's organised. You can't blame the people for what other people have done, okay? So that's like blaming us for what our colonials done. It's not right. It's not justified. Now, I'm not saying that they aren't taking the piss, right? Because a lot of them are. And that's what I'm saying. The ones that are paying their way, doing their thing, can stay. The ones that aren't can go.
Well, yeah.
We need to benefit society, not drag it down.
But the majority of immigrants to this country have made this country worse. They've dropped our wages. They've
No, that's again, that's the people running the system that's done that.
no, it
Again,
isn't. No, it isn't.
The immigrants didn't call for a 0-hour contract to be in place in Britain.
No,
The
but
immigrants didn't call
a
for that.
Polish plumber.
The immigrants didn't call for a national minimum wage, right? So you can't blame the immigrants. The immigrants, they're just taking advantage of the system, okay? Something we neglect to do ourselves. So we can't blame the people, okay? I'm not saying I agree with it.
So you can't blame. So you can't blame
people.
So you can't blame the immigrant plumber who comes over here and drops everybody's prices because he's willing to work for less. You can't blame that plumber. You can't blame him, can you? You can't blame some of my friends being out of work because immigrants have come over and have made it so.
Or because they won't take another job. What about that? What about that side of it?
He spent 3 years at college learning how to be a plumber. Why should he have to take a different job?
Well, guess what? You can't just expect to jump straight into a job. It's not common purpose.
No, he had a job. He fulfilled his apprenticeship.
You could go to British Gas. If you've come out of college and you're a plumber, go to British Gas. Go to Anglian Water. Go and get an internship or something. There's a lot out there. And I just don't completely agree with the notion that it's completely immigrants. And when I say immigrants, I mean the Eastern Europeans. I don't mean the Africans or the Arabians that have come over. And even, and when I mean Africans, I mean like most of the North African, the Barcelona Declaration, because the Nigerians are decent working people, Zimbabweans, Kenyans, all these people, but they have a common denominator, Christianity.
But
Let
me have my say. Honestly, I'm with you on that. To be honest with you, I'm not too bothered about the Eastern Europeans. We share similarities. We've got very much in common with these people. And if they do work with us in our system and respect our nation and love our nation like we do and want to become British, want to become part of the one British community, because there should only be one community in Britain, and that should be the British
Polish,
community.
Lithuanian, some of the Romanians have still got to learn a bit of our culture, I'd say. But
hey,
a lot of the Polish, a lot of the Lithuanians, a lot of even the Russians that are here, they're just decent working people. I know quite a lot of them. Well, in my town I do. And they completely agree with the way I view things. And they say, well, a lot of people from my nation and other nations have just come here for the benefit system, which they completely disagree with, which is right. And I can't sit back and disagree with them and say, or say, oh, well, I want you all out, because a lot of them want them out as well.
Well, I think that if you have a job in this country to come to, you can come. If you have come to this country and you do not have a job, you can go.
So if you look at one thing that I look at, right, is say a lot of the Asians, and I don't mean like Pakistan, I mean
Muslims.
like Chinese,
Ah,
right,
the
and
Far
Japanese,
Easterns.
right.
The Far
If you look at
Easterns.
them who migrate over here for work or whatnot, okay, that most of their children will go to private school. Their parents would pay for them to go to private school, then put a stress on our system, because they fully understand and comprehend what mass immigration or mass amount of people can do to a system.
Mate, you want to see some of the schools around here? I'll tell you that now. You want to come and see some
But
of the schools around here.
you have Tony Blair to thank for that.
Oh, I know. Oh, I know. However, an invasion
It designed.
is done
Yes.
on purpose. And we know
Mm-hmm.
for a fact that it is an invasion. Nothing else.
Well, they're flying them in, mate, aren't
Yeah.
they? Let's be honest. They're
Yeah.
flying them in by the hundreds on unmarked planes.
Yep.
So even if we did close down our borders, right, we can't close down all of our airports. It would be impossible. Do you imagine trying to control Gatwick, trying to control Heathrow, trying to control Manchester and Birmingham and all the other airports that are about? Oy.
Tag them. Easy enough.
No, we need to build a wall, and then we can take control of the airports. Or just get rid of all these people. They want to. Boeing's as complicit as the next. They're working with Amazon, aren't they, and Google.
What was that? You just broke up a bit.
I said Amazon and Google are working with Boeing.
Ah. To develop more self-flying planes?
Well, they've created drones that can transfer data, like massive amounts of data,
Yeah.
without actually connecting with one another through what I can describe as a high-powered and engineered infrared beam of sorts. That's the nearest thing that I can place it to. With a wider range of like receiving. It's a wider span.
So there'll be drones flying above a lot of drones flying above a lot of towns, cities, just firing information back and forth on what they see. Yeah.
These are high up in the sky.
Yeah.
And they don't even need
monitoring system, anyone?
The internet to transfer. They don't need internet to transfer this data. They just need to be within a certain vicinity of each other, and then the data will automatically transfer.
Yep.
It's full AI.
And it's the monitoring system that they want. They love to monitor us. They've not got enough of our information through Facebook. They've not got enough of our information yet so far. They want more. They want more of our information. They want more of our details and more of our data. So they know exactly where we are, what we're doing, and what we think. But, you see, we brushed upon one of the very, very sticky issues.
I just want to quickly say something. At least China has the honesty to be open and honest about its social engineering, right? Our government do it, or the deep state do it to us on a deceptive scale.
Oh, well,
like scoring us at school, scoring us people, how many people we have on Facebook, and how many what we say and how we do it and where we're going. Because if we don't, guess what? We'll get locked up. Oh, hate speech. Hate speech. Oh. We're going to employ another 900 officers just to deal and tackle hate speech. What's hate speech? Someone define hate speech to me, because I really don't understand it.
It's
Because
called the
Muhammad was a
truth.
cunt.
It's called the truth. The truth is hate speech. The truth.
Oh, what, like Muhammad being a warmongering arsehole? And this whole narrative of religion.
Muhammad was one of the worst examples of man I have ever known. Full stop. Full stop. Oh, shit! I'm gonna get freaking 6 years for that, aren't I?
It goes down to, who would you want rather living next door to you, Jesus or Muhammad?
Jesus. Buddha. I'd rather have Buddha living next door to me.
Well,
Go
which
rub
is
his belly.
practically what Jesus. If you really read the scriptures and read and understand what Jesus was doing, he's doing exactly practically what Buddha was doing. He meditated all the time. Did Jesus? He was well travelled, was Jesus, especially in those parts of the land. Spent a lot of time with Burmese monks
Well, it was
before the invasion of Islam.
Yeah,
And then the
remember
monks
one.
had to then rebel, and you don't want monks on your ass because they're the most tactical you could ever wage war against. So,
Shaolin, Christ away. But I remember this one meme I made. I made a meme myself, and it was because the Americans like to say, "Oh, well, what would Jesus do?" So I had one. What would Jesus do? And what would Muhammad do? And it was.
what would Muhammad do?
Yeah.
You say?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Jesus was picking the child. Jesus was picking the child up off the floor. Muhammad was doing the opposite. But yeah, that was the one meme I ever made. It was a good one. Didn't get very far. Didn't get published everywhere and didn't go viral. But
I've made a few. I don't know if they got very far.
But hey, it's a meme. There's plenty more better meme artists than me.
I was going to say, I leave the meme artists up to it, man. I'm not going to lie. I leave the meme artists up to that, and then I just propagate them. And at times, laughing my ass off, a lot of them, because they get me. There was one that I posted the other day. It was of Obama and Kim Jong-un, and it said, "Give me my people back." Yeah. And it's got a picture of Kim Jong-un laughing, saying, "Ha ha ha, no," and then one of Donald Trump going, "Give me my people back," and it's got one going, "Okay, people." It's one of my favourites. I love it. I love that.
Oh, it is a funny one. It just shows you the difference in persona as well, doesn't it? Because Donald Trump says something, you fucking do it. But Obama says something, you go, nah, I don't like you.
It's doing the opposite.
Yeah.
I'm going to create the best healthcare you've ever known. I created.
Yeah. Oh my God, Obamacare. Oh, but it's that slippery slope. The slippery slope of socialism. Oh, what can we sell? What's the first easiest thing we can sell to people? Well, let's have a bit of a welfare state to stop criminality. Yeah, so if we pay the unemployed people just a little bit to keep them going, that's nicely socialism, isn't it? Ooh, the next big step. Ooh, a health service. Nationalised health service. So, we'll paint it so if the people get ill, they don't have to pay for anything and it's all nice and happy and fuzzy bunny rainbows. When actually it's not. Yeah, it's a means.
corporate entity controlling it for its experiments.
Yep. And
there you go.
And it also means that the government has the power of life and death. The government chooses whether you should live or whether you should die. What's this comment? Chris Murray.
But I'm not against the NHS, okay? I'm actually not, okay? We just need to change the way it's run and the structure of it and a lot of the people working in it, okay?
I think
that's all that needs to happen with the NHS. And like I said before, and a lot of people agreed with me, if we had just a contribution, a low contribution, because that's all it'd be required, okay? Because in my system, there'll be more natural remedies, okay? They'll use that word remedies for a reason.
You can't cure anything.
Okay.
Yeah, but as I was going to say, we have to approach it. We have to now we now have to approach the NHS like we are going to...
Like your life depends on it.
No, like we are going to destroy it. We have to approach it in that manner. Because it is that far gone.
In a sense, you are destroying it.
Yeah.
In a sense, you are destroying it, aren't you?
Because it is
destroying the current system and the current narrative of it.
Yeah, we have to take a freaking sledgehammer to it because it is that far gone. It's that corrupt now. It's that far gone that...
It's that far gone, Marlon.
Yeah, it's to a point now where it spends a third of its budget on legal claims against it. That's how bad it is. Yeah.
And to be honest, those claims are really against the corporations that are controlling this medication and pushing it onto the NHS and whatnot.
And
NHS are then having to subsidise that.
It's also coming from...
Does that seem fair?
It's also coming from overworked and underpaid staff. Because if somebody's been on their feet for 12 freaking hours, imagine them trying to put a drip in place.
Well, yeah.
You know, they're going to stab your arm a couple of times before they get it right.
Education with it as well. You don't have all the right people doing the right jobs and such.
Yeah. You know, you've got... the worst ones are the freaking management. Management that have been flown in because they've got a management degree. They have no experience whatsoever in dealing with people. No experience whatsoever with dealing with sick people. No experience whatsoever of dealing with a proper business. They have no experience...
And do you know what I would do as well? If you're going to be a nurse and you're going to work for the NHS in any part of the field or doctor, guess what? Don't worry about it. You ain't got to pay. You haven't got to pay for your education. If you want to specialise in something, then yes, the basics of it will be there, but you'll have to pay for your extras in that yourself, okay? Which I think is very fine, and you could do it as they do it now, where you go, well, we can take so much out of your wages each year, each month or year.
Well...
Or spread over a year.
I think we should have...
We need more incentives for British people to train as nurses, so we don't have to employ them from everywhere else.
Yeah, I was thinking we should have a proper medical college, which is free for all to learn, to train, and to be part of the NHS. If you then leave the country and leave the NHS, then you'll have to pay it back. If you know what I'm saying. But if you...
Each year will be a certain percentage off.
You're breaking up, mate.
After a period of service, so to speak.
You're breaking up quite badly now. But, yeah, like I was saying, if you stay a part of the NHS, you know, yeah, maybe you do a 10-year term with the NHS and your debt's paid off. That's fine. That's sort of bit like the army, like. But if you came, you had
and
your
that's
free...
my idea.
You had
my
your free
idea
education.
Based on the army.
Well, I was just about to say, if you have your free education through our National Health College, we'll call it that for now. If you had your free education through our National Health College and then buggered off to Thailand after you've got your free training and became a nurse or a doctor in Thailand, then you'd have to pay us that money back. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
But if you did 10 years in the NHS, working for us, working with us, doing everything you can, using the skills that you'd learned.
What's being paid, everyone? We're not thinking that you're not going to get paid. You are going to get paid.
A bloody good wage. You'll get paid a bloody good wage. That's what we want.
Oh, yes, and well looked after. You won't have to pay any tax.
No, you won't have to pay any tax.
No one will.
No. Well,
the contributions would be slightly lower as well. Same with the army.
And, yeah, then if you've done 10, 15 years with us, you're free to go. You've paid back your sort of education stipend.
Yeah, you paid it with respect and honour.
Yeah.
Working for your society. And you know what? That's the greatest way you could pay anyone back. You don't need to pay... If I lent someone £100 to get them out of the crap, right? I prefer they didn't pay me back and done something good, right? Whether it is for me or for another person, I would rather that than be paid back.
Yeah.
But there are too many dishonourable people who wouldn't do that.
Who'd take the money and run.
In all honesty.
Who'd take the money and fucking run. You know they would.
A lot of people would, yeah. If I went up to someone and said, what would you do for anyone if you was just randomly given £100? The first thing they'd do, most people would say go shopping, I'd spend it.
Yep.
Whereas me, I'd be like, I'd go and buy a good selection of like warm things for people or food or whatnot for the homeless, or I would go, I would just do something. Or if I needed that money for myself, when I had the money and all the spare time that I had, I'd help people and do stuff. And does that make sense?
Well, if we're millennials and the government gave us 10 grand like they're proposing, yeah, how many of our millennials, I freaking hate that term, but how many of us...
It's not even the millennials, it's Zennials now, isn't it?
Oh, fuck them, little fuckers. But
it's the Zennials, the ones that were born after a certain time, now Zennials.
But no, yeah. I was just about to say, how many of these people would take the 10 grand and blow it up the nose, or blow it on a party, or just blow it on clothes and shite? Some of them might buy cars, some of them might, but which of them's going to put a deposit on a house?
I would say probably 90% of them would just blow the shit out of it.
Yeah. That's what happens when you give people free money. If they've not had to earn this money, they have no respect for the money. If you give the money to them, they have no respect for it. They've not earned it, and they won't treasure it. So
it will have no value to them.
Yes,
and it's also washed into them that you don't hold any value for anyone else. Well, I hold other people in value a lot. I'm very grateful for the things I have. I'm more grateful for the people that I have around me.
Well, you see, I've come at it from a different angle. You see, back when I was growing up and learning life, I saw a lot of people spending all of their money on nights out and then having nothing to show for that money. Whereas, I'd go out on the occasions, go out and do things, but I'd also buy things and stuff. So I've got something to show for my money. Not just happy, hazy memories and friends and good times, but I've actually got artefacts and items that I can say, well, I went out, I did that work, and now I've got this. Way.
What artefacts do you have? Do you have dinosaur fossils? I'm joking. I'm joking.
I'd tell you if you'd like, but no.
No, so, and although I went out, I didn't go out all that much, really, in all honesty. And by the time I was 19, I was in Australia.
So yeah, it's good parties there, mate.
I didn't even buy things. I didn't buy things. I took life experience over anything. But that was me, because that's the sort of individual that I am.
Well, when my experience...
I love experience and going around the world. Was Jesus part of my inspiration? Quite possibly. I will never know, because I didn't know what I was really thinking when I was at the age of when I decided to go to Australia, because I decided at a very young age. I think I was like 6. I decided I was going to Australia. I don't know.
Well,
I was directed by something or someone. Something drew me to it. I didn't even know about it. All I seen was Ayers Rock on the TV, and I went, Dad, I need to go there. I want to go there. And he goes, yeah, maybe one day. I was like, no, I've got to go there. And I did.
Yeah. Well, one thing I learned from my experience in Spain was I saw quite a few pretty much empty apartments. People were living in pretty much empty apartments and spending all the time either at work or in the bar. Not at home. At work, in the bar. And that was it.
Yeah, but you didn't live in true Spain, though, and what Spain actually really is, though, did you? Like, say, if you went to, like, Santander or somewhere like that, it's very different to where you was.
I lived in many different places in Spain. Many different places. But I'm talking more, yes, about the expat or the people that went and moved and lived out there, or even the youth out there. The youth were a lot more concerned with going out having fun and having nothing to show for the money, apart from good times and good friends.
But going out isn't as like, because I don't think going out is a bad thing, and like going out every weekend is pointless. I'm not going to lie, it's just pointless. It's just literally wasting your money. But going out is a good thing. You can connect with people and gather with people and enjoy things, and even like, as you would say, forgetting about what's going on and just literally enjoying the energy that's about. It's a really good thing to do for everyone. Like, even for us woke, to forget about everything and just literally enjoy yourself.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
Yeah, let your hair down.
Just get lost in the moment. Yeah, letting your hair down, getting lost in the moment, and that needs to be done for anyone.
It's like grounding. It's like social grounding. You know, you want to, if you're feeling negative, you've got negative feelings inside of you, go out to a field, stand in the field. A lot of that negativity will be released. Now, the same comes with social negativity. Because if you're not going out and talking to people and having some social life and social fun, it's going to become very introverted and very, you have to let the steam out.
Well, we're sociable mammals, aren't we? We shouldn't be alone, and that's kind of what this new age of computing has done. It's created this very individualism and connecting through just the internet and not reaching the outside world. It's, for me, I can't comprehend it because I never done it when I was younger, and I really don't understand why you'd want to do it.
I used to go out and walk around just hoping that I'd bump into people when I was young.
Mate, we didn't have mobiles when we was younger.
No.
We didn't have the internet connecting with each other. We couldn't just like hit each other up on bloody Facebook or Snapchat. We didn't have that option.
No, it cost 25p for a text. It cost 25p for a text message, and that was off your mum and dad's phone.
Exactly. And not only that, we had to go and knock on the door, and if you weren't in, you had to go and hunt the streets just in case you was with the other mates, because there was always a route that you'd take to walk and knock on your mates' doors, right, to see if they were in and if they were coming out. Well, I did anyway. And I suppose most kids did, in some sort of sense, whether they knew that they was doing it or not. But anyway, yeah, we had to knock on people's doors. We had to, or even if you did have a house phone, right, which most of us at our age would do.
Yeah.
Anyone who's like 30 below definitely had a house phone growing up. You'd have to just randomly ring. You'd be ringing blindly. You wouldn't know even if anyone was going to pick up the phone. The other end.
Or you'd end up having to talk to the parents.
Voicemail.
Like,
There was no text. There was no, let this person know you've left they missed your call. Or just call back later. What? Or even some house phones now, if you're BT, I think if you're BT, they have the ability now that if someone's ringing your landline and you've got a BT mobile, they'll send you a text message to say that you've missed a call on your landline and the number it is.
Yep.
That's too much for me. I don't want that. I'm quite happy to go home and listen to my voicemail.
Fucking voicemail.
I'm out for a reason.
Yeah.
I don't want people to contact me at home. I'm out for a reason.
Yeah. Aye.
But yeah, we didn't have these luxuries, and we had computers. We had Commodore 64, Spectrum, Mega Drive, Masters. But do you know what? I loved them growing up. I'm not going to lie.
They were awesome.
Bee's knees.
Awesome. Yeah.
I prefer them now over to the games that they've got now, because I think a lot of the games that they have now, especially with like the firing games or the open map games and stuff like that. I don't even know what they call them. I just call them open map games because I don't even know the point to them. Just go around doing things. I just find it a distraction. But anyway, good games, and there's too much detail in these computer games, and your brain's just going. That's why they don't have the ability to be able to communicate on a proper level. Most of these people who are stuck in gaming.
Well, it's how quickly can I say this information to you as quickly as I can that you're going to understand it. There's no eloquence. There's no sentence structure. There's no pontification. It's just shoot, red, now. Shoot, fire, kill.
And anger. Like, what is the actual point to Grand Theft Auto? I'll tell you what the point is. It's to normalise everything that's in the game.
Yep, normalise violence. Yay! Normalise stealing cars.
Normalise prostitution. Normalise the degeneration of a nuclear family.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep. Let's see divorce. Divorce is normal nowadays. And
let's go and get pissed in a strip joint, go and rape a prostitute and nick all of her money and kill her, right? And then drive down the street in a car, bashing everyone about, getting the police after you, then the army, and then what? Then you die and then you restart again. That's not how life goes. No,
and then before that, you've got to brag about it to your friends.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But hey, that's the way of the world.
Because when we had Grand Theft Auto, there was firing, right? But look at Grand Theft Auto 1, 2 and London, right?
The little box man walking around with camera above him.
Yeah, we had bird's eye view of everything. We couldn't have this detail. We had gun firing, but even as young children, I understood what guns were and what they were used for and how they were used.
We used to make our own little guns and stuff.
Yeah, we used to peg guns. Do you remember peg guns?
Yeah,
making a peg gun.
Peg guns, lackey bands, everything. Yeah.
Yeah, we had spud guns as well. Like these things, you're not allowed spud guns no more.
No, you can't have a Nerf. Oh, Nerf! Oh.
No, a spud gun. Spud guns banned now.
Oh, well, I've not seen one for sale for a freaking long time, so it must be. Because they'd be like
And then you have them
pound shop
pea
favourites,
shooters.
wouldn't they?
See, we were messing about with spud guns and pea shooters, right? Kids nowadays are messing around with machetes and bloody guns.
But that was another part of the mountain we've got to climb, which is modern culture. Because modern culture has been MK Ultra'd. Modern culture has had
The gang culture.
Yeah.
I don't even call it modern culture. It is literally just gang culture. And it's been normalised by...
the CIA.
And MI6 and
Yep.
all of them. The deep state.
Yep. Why do you think they're not
They
bothered about
control the music,
Why do you think they're
the
not bothered?
film and TV industry.
Yeah. Why do you think they're not bothered about London knife crime? Because they friggin' instigated it!
Yeah. They instigated it, then they allowed it to be normalised.
Yep. Yep.
And then you got hypocrites like Eminem, like... Or, I say Eminem, I don't know if he's spoken out about guns. He might have done. I haven't seen it. But there's been artists that have... and actors that have been speaking out about the guns... When, one, they're in films that are firing guns and killing people.
Yep.
And two, they have armed guards surrounding them all the time.
In their armed fortresses that they live in.
Yeah. Give it a rest. Tell me your argument, because I'll come up against all of these and give me... I'd like to give them an argument. I'd like to say, well, how about the more deaths per year related to pharmaceuticals than related to than gun related?
Yep.
There's another one, okay?
There's more people killed by texting drivers. Somebody texting on their mobile phone kills more people than guns.
The terrorists that you allow walk in the streets kill more people per year than what guns do.
Yep.
The chemicals you're pumping into the sky and everything else, killing more people a year than guns do.
But we don't want to stop that. We do want to take your guns, though. We don't want to stop any of this chemtrailing or people killing each other, but we do want to take your guns away. You just want to take your guns. Because it's been told from long ago that the last bastion of freedom is the Americans having guns. If the Americans didn't have guns, the world would be in global tyranny by now. Easily. Definitely. Right. Yeah, I think we're going to have to finish up now because we're getting past... Oh, we're coming up to freaking 2 hours, mate. It's been a good show. Thank you very much for everybody for watching. It's been great. I know we tried to get Mr. Bashir, or the Lanks lad. I might have poked him and got him on Facebook as well, but I had to run and get a speaker. So I think we might be able to start getting more people involved through the Facebook feed. You won't be able you'll be able to see them on the Facebook, but you won't be able to see them on the YouTube, but you'll be able to hear them, I hope. I do hope. So, let's just give it a test. Give it a test. Right, I'm adding you. Thanks, lad. I'm adding you. Let's see if we can hear you and stuff. Hopefully. Oh, he declined. It's alright. It's alright. Well, we'll give it a test. We'll give it a try another time. Alright. Well, that's the end of the show this evening. Thank you all very much for watching. Yeah, plenty more to come. We're going to do as much as we possibly can. I'm going to be out over the weekend filming. I'm going to film some more stuff as well. We're going to have some fun. We're going to have some more little snippets and clippets and shows to come for the Hive Mind. So thank you all very much for watching, and have a good night.
Good night and God bless everyone. Don't pray for Allah. Pray for God.
Yeah, because they are two totally different fucking things. Alright, thank you one and all. Take care.